or Target, or to pay the neighbor kid to mow your lawn, or to hire employees. But that's not the case under this system. So I want to explain that. In Nigeria, in Costa Rica, and they haven't even been totally imploded yet, in Brazil, in just countless other countries. In some cases, if you look at Nigeria, they pay over 90% of their tax money to debt service. And there's famous cases in Nigeria, one of the best case point examples of where they got a $1 billion loan from the IMF back in the 60s. And last time I checked, they'd paid over $50 billion on interest on that $1 billion. Because by the time they started paying it off, it was in the tens of billions. And they still owe another 50-something billion. So they're going to end up paying hundreds of billions of dollars on a $1 billion loan. And the IMF and World Bank gave them that loan and many subsequent ones to pay off the old loans. And it was literally created out of thin air, but backed up by countries that contribute to the IMF World Bank Private Consortium Fund. And the UN puts out all this propaganda about it's helping poor people. Yeah, poor bankers. And so your tax money backed it up. Well, now the bankers are just saying, look, we're even done with that. You'll still have your dollars and your pounds and your yens and your yans and your euros and your shekels and you'll still have all of those. You'll still have the peso in Mexico. You'll still have the peso, you know, down in Guatemala. You still have the peso in other Latin American countries, but they're all going to be globally set by this G20 consortium of central banking heads. This is on record. And they will set the interest rates and play currencies off against each other. Just like the G20 announced last year that they were having coordinated devaluation of the currencies, coordinated, unified strategy. And now here we are a year and a half later, and they're going, oh, my goodness, there's a currency war. Countries are fighting with each other to see who can lower their currencies faster. This is causing hyperinflation. Meanwhile, the Federal Reserve comes out, the North American branch of this group, and says, oh, we're going to have quantitative easing and money printing to pay off the debt. But then they go, oh, isn't it horrible? Currencies are going down. They openly carry out the policy and then go, oh, my gosh, it's terrible what it's doing. We've got an answer. Give us more power. And so now, for the last 5 years, they've been issuing SDRs. I have confirmed that in overseas shipping, it's printed on USPS, U.S. Postal Service. Its conversion rate, it's about 1.5, takes 1.59 SDRs. One SDR is worth $1.59. So we're already under SDRs. It's like 2 years ago, the Texas Workforce Commission sent me a letter. Before it was even in WorldNet Daily, I'd noticed this. And then about 2 weeks later, it was in WorldNet Daily. Jerome Corsi wrote a story about it, but I can confirm it. And back then, I guess 2 years ago, we had about 15 employees and contractors. And the Texas Workforce Commission sent me a letter about increased worker comp taxes and insurance taxes and things. You know, it's all going up every time I turn around. And it said, you now under federal government rules, we do not report to the federal government. We report to the North American Union body. And I showed that Texas Workforce Commission letter here on air. And of course, he got copies of them around the country. It's kind of like before health care even passed earlier this year. Remember in Illinois, and we showed this on air and also wrote an article about it, and then mainstream media picked it up, that they were already instructing businesses on the new taxes and on how under federal law they had to get insurance, and the state was implementing it before the law was even passed. That's because this global governance puts all this in place and then tells you about it later. Kind of like by 1993, every state in the United States, all 50, had standardized driver's license issuance under the federal government. Itself, in 2000, a UN summit in Australia, where they unified globally the driver's license and passports. And so here we are 10 years later, and they're just now getting around to telling you about global IDs. And a decade plus after we already had a national ID card, they got around to telling you. But it still has your state on it. So it looks like it's local. Same thing with these SDRs. And so we're already in the world government. That's kind of like they had the 50th anniversary of the EU in 2007. Because in 1957, they did set up the EU with the Treaty of Rome. I have a copy of it. It's in the film Endgame. It's online. You can read it. But they told the Europeans they were in an EU in 2000. They were in it in 1957. We're already in the NAU.
Are you concerned about dropping or losing your cell phone? Are you tired of dealing with cell phone clips or holsters? Then this message is for you. Introducing Clip Hanger, the best and most affordable cell phone holder on the market, made to keep your phone secure and accessible. Clip Hanger works with all cell phones, including the iPhone, Droid, BlackBerry, and even iPods. When attached to a pant loop, Clip Hanger won't poke when you sit down. And for women, Clip Hanger easily attaches to any purse strap. Carry a phone in your pocket? Simply use one finger to pull it out with Clip Hanger. Clip Hanger is thin and simple, has a 1-year warranty against breakage, and prices start at only $10.95. With your Clip Hanger purchase, we'll also send you the auto hook for your car and ship everything to you absolutely free. See the amazing Clip Hanger and the Clip Hanger Lite with its built-in LED flashlight at myphoneclip.com. To order, call 801-719-2680. That's 801-719-2680. Or visit myphoneclip.com to get your Clip Hanger today.
Good day, this is Peter Cronschnabel from Midas Resources. Today is October 19th, 2010. Gold opened this morning at $1356.90. A 1-ounce gold coin can be purchased for $1392.20, $696.10 for a half ounce, and $348.05 for a quarter ounce. That's $1392.20, $696.10, and $348.05.
Again, the Congressional Budget Office sounds the alarm, warning of Greek-style U.S. debt crises. CBO is drawing a parallel between U.S. economy and the Greek economic meltdown. Debt to GDP climbing to unfamiliar territory and deficits rising to unsupportable levels. Hi, Ted Anderson. The Federal Debt and Risk of Financial Crises document the CBO has published is a must-read for every American. Covering the risks of deficit spending, aging population, and rising interest rates spells economic disaster. Call today at 800-686-2237. I'll send it free. Again, call 800-686-2237. Ask for the CBO document. Call 800-686-2237.
The question is, where should the American people draw their line in the sand?
What have we got? A republic or a monarchy?
A republic
is based on a constitution which protects minority rights.
Not democracy, not mob rule, 2 wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner.
So they think they own our land, they think they own our water, children, our education, our money.
We have to define who we are and what we will tolerate.
Somebody's going to ask you what you did during the Patriot Uprising.
You have been warned.
We have the facts. We have the Constitution. We have the Bill of Rights. We have common law. Knowledge is power, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm so excited to be able to offer you Don't Tread on Me, Rise of the Republic. Tyranny is upon us, but liberty and the sleeping giant that is the American people is rising. A new tool in the info war. Don't Tread on Me. Order it at Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139 and support independent, patriotic Liberty films.
Your natural organic herbal formula for heart health is Heart and Body Extract.
My name is Van, and I'm 68 years old, and I live in Vermont. In the spring of 2003, I started to have problems with my heart. It felt like my heart was pounding, made me feel breathless. I tried many different things to try to get some help for myself. Nothing did anything.
Heart and Body Extract is very powerful, very effective, and works quickly.
I saw one of Sharon's ads and ordered Heart and Body Extract. I noticed a difference quickly, within days. The episodes became less frequent, and by a month had completely vanished.
Usually you find a 30-day or 60-day guarantee. Heart and Body Extract comes with a lifetime 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. Call 866-295-5305. 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
All right, I'm going to get into what's happening in France and undoubtedly how it will spread here. All the different financial news that's just amazing. But I want to quantify this very simply because I have this gut check every day now, multiple times a day. It shocks my intellect when I realize just how real this world government is, just how real the weaponization of the medical system against us is, just how real all the Rockefeller Foundation documents are about chemicals and pathogens added to vaccines to give us cancer and sterilize us. I mean, that's real. The government shooting up Guatemalan children with syphilis, that's real. This year, the UN worldwide giving children weaponized polio and murdering them is AP and CBS, but they report it like it's no big deal. Bayer Pharmaceuticals shipping out over 1 million ampules of factor VIII blood product with knowing it had HIV in it, on record, and hepatitis. That's real. The government knowing DU is a death sentence for our military. That's real. The Model States Health Emergency Powers Act, Force Inoculation Program, that's real. The National Emergency Centers Act for FEMA camps, that's real. The military openly announcing they will patrol and take over the U.S. during financial collapse. Guess what? It wasn't for Al-Qaeda, like I told you 9 years ago. That's real. This is all real. This is all really happening. And more and more I wake up at 1, 2, 3 in the morning after I've been asleep a few hours because I control my fear. I control my concern when I'm conscious and awake because I'm on a mission. But when I'm asleep, I end up having dreams about this. I guess you'd call them nightmares. And every night now, I just wake up, I'm in the dark, I walk around the house, I go into my children's bedrooms, I look at them, innocent, good, sweet, they deserve to not live under tyranny. And I just sat on the couch for about an hour last night, just wishing I was wrong, wishing 9/11 wasn't an inside job, wishing that our country wasn't imploded by design, wishing, because I know how bad it's going to be, not just for my family, but your family, and for all the foolish people that are compartmentalized and dumbed down, who've been given a false mental template of society, all the people that are enabling this to happen by sitting on the bench or actively helping the globalist. We've had crooks take over our society, and they develop scientific systems to dumb people down and to misdirect and control populations, and it is even more horrific and more real than I had first, years ago surmised from their own admissions and documents. And I want to ask callers, do you have these gut checks? Are you concerned? Because I call it fear. When I'm awake and conscious right now, I'm not afraid. But when I wake up in the middle of the night, it's not even really fear. It's more concern. It's more sorrow. It's more nostalgia for the present. As bad as things are now, this is a cakewalk compared to where we're going. And it's just a deep-seated wish and desire to do a better job. I mean, it's such an overpowering responsibility to know what's happening, to understand what the globalists have done, to have their number, to know their modus operandi, to understand who they are, and to understand just how sadistic and psychopathic and wicked they are, and how much danger we are all in, including people that serve this system. And I use the example a lot of Abu Ghraib and other torture centers all over Iraq and the Middle East and into Central Asia and Afghanistan and Eastern Europe and Western Europe and all the secret black sites and the giant cadres of torture teams they've created that even torture people's children, according to the Army's own report, in front of their parents. I mean, that is a bold evil, that the government would go ahead with that. And that when their own minions get caught doing it, they send them to prison for following orders. That ought to tell you about the hypocrisy and just the level of bona fide, naked wickedness that we're dealing with here. The sky is the limit with these people. Just what we know about the globalist is unspeakably bad. Imagine what we don't know. I mean, there's a whole bunch of mainstream news articles this week. We've got links to them up at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com with AP, Reuters, The Mail, BBC, going, okay, yeah, hundreds of thousands got Guillain-Barré and narcolepsy and epilepsy and brain damage and autoimmune problems from the vaccine, from the H1N1, exactly as we told you a year ago. And how did we tell you exactly a year ago what would happen? Because we've lived through this over and over again. We just have the courage to read the insert on the vaccine. And it isn't an accident. It isn't just profit-taking by these companies. They cold-bloodedly know what they're doing. They're testing, killing us and maiming us out in the open and getting away with it. And every time my wife's at a grocery store, she sees people lined up taking the shots, and it freaks her out. It freaks me out. You want to just go up and warn these poor people going into 21st century equivalent of ditches, gas